Spooky,
Absolutely.
spooky. Let's talk about Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt report out this week. It was a worrying report, to be perfectly honest. An illness that sidelined Bray Wyatt for most of 2023 was apparently life-threatening. No details have come out about the illness, which is fair enough. It's his complete prerogative to reveal that himself or not.
Yeah.
But Fightful Select has reported that that he's improved significantly. So we may be getting Bray Wyatt back. There was drop plans from WrestleMania 39, which included Bobby Lashley and Bray Wyatt, as we all expected. But yeah, Bray is moving closer to coming back. What do you think, Dan?
Yeah, I've read a report that it was rumored to be returning sometime in September, all being well. Same as everything, we want people to come back when they are good and ready. We don't want rushed because of injury, because of health scares, or anything like that. We want people to come back when they're 100% ready to go, ready to put on good shows, rather than come back, get injured, come back well before you're ready. Because it's not good for you, it's not good for the company, it's not good for the product.
Of course, man. People's health are the most important thing, and it sounds like he was hospitalized as well at one point. So
yeah, it was supposedly life-threatening, which is if it's life-threatening, then you do not want to be rushing anything whatsoever.
Absolutely, and it makes sense why the Bray story was halted in the way that it had to be. You can't do anything about that. Now, I wasn't engaged in the Bray story anyway prior to him leaving, and I think many people had issues with the Bray Wyatt booking. So, how would you like to see Bray Wyatt make his return?
In all honesty, I would like to see him go back to the original Bray Wyatt character.
Oh, going to the original Bray Wyatt character, are we, Dan?
No Firefly Funhouse, no Fiend. I would like to go back to the camp leader that had Luke Harper, Eric Rowan, and go to that character, because to me, that was a lot more engaging.
Yeah.
I know we have a lot of people that love the Fiend and the Bray Wyatt character that he is now. One of them on our channel.
Not talking about Dom, are you there, Dan?
Oh, no, I wouldn't say anything negative about his favourite performer at the minute.
Of all time, yeah, go on.
But I think that character, I think it could in a way turn into a Three Faces of Foley style character, which I think could be cool. I don't get me wrong, I think that would be quite enjoyable. But there has been stuff teased online that we was meant to have Eric Young. We was meant to have, I think it was Karrion Kross.
Yeah, there was that as some sort of Wyatt 6, which I think would have been even more garbage than what we had, to be perfectly honest. I hate the idea of Wyatt 6. Everyone talks about the Wyatt 6 being something that's going to save Bray Wyatt. And here's the problem with the Wyatt 6, right? For that to work, you have to have a very definable Bray Wyatt. And guess what we do not have right now?
A definable Bray Wyatt.
A definable Bray Wyatt. So why would you go introducing more people? It's the issue that I said before, like the AEW's women's division. There's no point in adding more people. You need to fix what you've got, you know?
Yeah. You've got the performers there. Do something with them before anything else.
Absolutely. I think the Howdy character was confusing the Bray thing. And because he was getting involved in other things like Alexa Bliss and you know, after the diving elbow on LA Knight, going into the Alexa Bliss match and laughing and costing Alexa Bliss, it was just garbage, man. It's not my style of wrestling.
We're still waiting for a Uncle Howdy explanation. We still haven't got that.
No.
And that was from what, Royal Rumble?
Do you think, without Bray Wyatt, because obviously they couldn't use Bray Wyatt because he was dealing with an illness, and we are completely respectful of that. Do you think they should have carried on continued the Uncle Howdy storyline without Wyatt?
I don't know. I don't think it would work. I think it could have been very similar to like Kane and the Undertaker. If Undertaker disappeared after Kane debuted, where would you go with Kane to start with? You need a solid feud to legitimize your character.
But maybe you establish him as a character that never happened.
So, if that's the case, what would you have done with Uncle Howdy after he's been introduced? Bray Wyatt disappears. What would you do with Uncle Howdy from that point?
I would have had him feud with LA Knight to start off with. I would have moved him straight into LA Knight and told a story where LA Knight was frustrated with Howdy for costing him the event, but couldn't get to him, and says that he's an even worse gimmick than Bray Wyatt is, and do the sort of the standoff stuff that LA Knight was doing so well, which was, I'm not afraid of your gimmick, to LA Knight, but have him impact LA Knight in a more severe way. And then from that, you've established Uncle Howdy, and you can have him move on to anything.
But again, I still think that if you're going to do that feud, you still need Bray Wyatt there.
Okay.
In some fashion. Because what is the point of Uncle Howdy? He's coming. We don't know why he's there, what he's doing. The whole point of the character, why he's been helping Uncle Bray Wyatt and then attacking Bray and stuff like that. There's been no definitive end to that story to then start the next feud. That's where I had the issue with him.
Are people going to be interested to jump back onto that again? Or are you saying get rid of Uncle Howdy completely?
I'm thinking if you want to know the Uncle Howdy story, you'd have to rebuild the full story itself from scratch. You can still do the original story you was going to do, but you can't restart the story now. Or if Bray Wyatt showed up on Raw, you couldn't then go, next week, this is Uncle Howdy, the week after, this is why he's here. I think you'd have to completely reinvent that story and get fans invested to start with. Like they did with the QR codes.
I think we'll get a QR code return.
Yeah. I think that was one of the best tools that we've seen used by WWE in a hell of a long while.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was so much engagement from that.
Yes.
It created intrigue, but this is where I think you had the same problem as I did. The intrigue took too long to get going.
The issue I had with the whole White Rabbit thing is it led to nothing apart from Wyatt's return. And I have no problem with that, but like you're giving all these White Rabbit clothes and all this sort of Jefferson Airplane stuff and all this fantastic stuff, but how did it relate to Wyatt? It didn't.
No.
And that's an issue, you know.
Yeah.
And also the QR code in terms of the character of Bray Wyatt. I don't necessarily think a QR code is the way to go about it. So what we're talking about is transmedia narrative right now. And we're talking about engaging people through one form of media, which in this case is TV, and getting them to go and explore different things like social media and other things to find clues and even real world stuff. It's transmedia narrative, which is a really cool storytelling device. However, I don't feel that the character of Bray Wyatt or the White Rabbit or anything leading up to it would have done that through QR codes. They could have done it through writing on a wooden chair a message that led you to a website in a knife or something like that. That's how the QR code didn't work for me. However, it did engage multiple people, and so it has to be seen as a success in terms of marketing for WWE.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just having a quick look.
Oh.
We got WrestleMania 37, Randy Orton defeating The Fiend. That was in 2021. Yep, we know.
Yeah.
And then after that, he returned. When was it? Extreme Rules 2022.
It was Extreme Rules, yes, that's right.
And it took all the way until the end of January to actually get a match out of him. That was 3-4 months of promos and I say stories. There was promos that didn't actually do anything for the character.
That's the problem.
And it didn't lead anywhere. It took too long.
I don't think it's a problem that the match is 4 months apart. It's the fact that the story didn't move in an engaging way that people got to the point. You can not have a match for 4 months easily. Brock Lesnar does it all the time, and you can still.
Roman's done it regularly.
Roman does it regularly, but is still able to build that story. And you make a great point. The bloodline stuff is absolutely the stuff that's working at the minute, and not having matches. So you can absolutely do that. The problem was that the story wasn't as engaging as I think people wanted it to be. And then, as I've always said with Wyatt, one of the biggest problems is his matches are a huge letdown. Yeah. They always are. So I can't name a good Wyatt match. Maybe the Danielson one, but I mean, you're wrestling Bryan Danielson, for God's sake. He's the modern day Shawn Michaels. He can make a broom look good. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, this is where you're talking about going months without a match. WrestleMania 39, Roman Reigns defeats Cody Rhodes for the title.
Yeah.
The next time that title was on the line on a TV or pay-per-view match was SummerSlam 4 months later.
But they're able to tell an interesting story. Yeah. And a story that hits the right beats.
And I don't think that Bray's been able to do that at any point in his career. The Firefly Funhouse was good fun. And it led into a fun match with John Cena at WrestleMania. But the new character with The Fiend and Uncle Howdy, I don't think has worked from the get-go.
No, I didn't.
Because it's been too long of a story.
Yeah, you needed beats. I think the Firefly Funhouse thing was really fun because it was engaging content every week, so you could laugh at it or you could look into it. And the issue with that is where they were putting red flags. So they were putting stuff like Liv Morgan's going to be the new
Sister Abigail,
and it never was, and all that sort of stuff. Like, don't fake out fans. You don't need to do that, you know.
No.
That's just Vince laughing from somewhere, or Bruce Pritchard, who I think was handling a lot of the Finn storytelling, laughing in the background, you know. And actually, you treat your fans with more respect than that, you know. You don't need to do that, in my opinion. So Bray comes back. Why do we build to Bray and Cody at Mania, Dan?
You build to Cody and Roman. Finish the story.
No, what story? The story's been finished. I'm putting my light back on.
Okay.
I'm out of the darkness. Mate, no, Cody and Bray is perfect for Mania, man.
I think that's more Royal Rumble.
Oh, you don't blow it on Rumble. Cody'd sell it so well.
It would, but if you're going to do... Look at it this way. Who do you have to take the titles off Roman?
I don't know, but I think you do Rock and Roman at Mania.
You can't guarantee getting the Rock.
I think you've got more chance.
Go on.
You've got more chance now than ever because no films are being made, Dan.
Not right now, but
there's a writer's strike.
8 months down the line, he'll probably have a filming schedule.
I don't know that he will. Honestly, this writer's strike, the last one went on for a year or two.
Yeah,
and maybe. This one's been going on, and they've also included actors into this as well, into this writer's strike. So
you know? Again, I get back to exactly the same point.
Mm-hmm.
If you do Rock and Roman at Mania, are you seriously going to put The Rock over?
No, I don't think you are, but I think it's a bigger moment for...
Again, if you're not going to put The Rock over, who is taking them titles off Roman?
I still don't think Cody's doing it.
So instead of him, who instead?
I don't know. Montez Ford.
There isn't anyone
Gunther.
Gunther's probably the person beyond Cody for me.
Yeah, I'd love Gunter second. There's people, man. You can do it. The time's there to do it.
Yeah.
Is what I'm saying. It doesn't just have to be Cody. And once Cody wins the titles, what does he do? Actually, him losing at Mania was the right thing to do because it's give us this big Brock feud, and Cody is hotter than ever coming off this.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would have been a great story with the title, but it doesn't need the title.
No.
I don't think that, apart from Gunther and then Cody, I don't think there's anyone on any brand, even in NXT, that you could build up to be legitimate for WrestleMania 40. Maybe even 41. There isn't anyone that you could build on such a hot streak.
Man, you could do Roman and Gunther. You could do Roman and Drew again. You know, just people you can do.
There's people, but again, it's making the legitimate main event feel. You went into WrestleMania this year. That many people.
Mate, you could do Roman and Solo. You could do Roman and Solo. You just got to tell that story right.
You've got to tell it right, but I still don't think it will ever feel legitimate.
Lights out for Bray. Let's get people's comments about Bray because I've just steered this away from the Bray thing. I'm sorry. Lights out for Bray. The She-Fiend is here. Lol, certainly is. I'm pretty sure it was a mental illness and it will be longer than they say. I'm not sure. It did say he was hospitalized. Obviously, he can be hospitalized for mental illness, but they've had no reports on what it is, respecting his privacy, which I think is the right way to be. I think they need to respect Bray's privacy about this for sure.
Yeah.
Todd does love the cult leader with a few followers. Absolutely. Some butterflies on this shirt.
So much better of a character.
Yeah. I like that as a character.
Little question for you then. Can you remember the original cult leader gimmick?
Yes, it was Dave Spivey.
Who went by
Waylon Mercy.
Waylon Mercy. Seeing if you got there.
Yeah.
Oh, no, again, that was a character well ahead of its time.
Of course it was, yeah.
And I think Bray Wyatt
is still alive. It was Dave Spivey that did Waylon Mercy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be cool to do something with him?
It could be, yeah.
So he was born in 1952. His age is...
He hasn't wrestled since 95.
Oh, he doesn't need to wrestle. He just needs to come in and do something, doesn't he?
He last defeated Bob Holly.
Nice. In 1995, nice. Oh, he voiced Mercy the Buzzard in the Firefly Funhouse. I didn't know he did that. I know that because it was Waylon the Buzzard, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Or Mercy the Buzzard.
Mercy the Buzzard.
Cool. Okay. It'd be cool to just acknowledge it a bit more. I get that that's a cool little Easter egg, and I never knew that actually until just looking that up now.
Yeah.
I hope Howdy is revealed to be Bo Dallas, and they bring out the fact that the real life brothers, true Wyatt family, no more Firefly, keep the supernatural to a minimal, stick with creepy.
Yeah.
That's what I'd like. That's what I'd like, man. Get rid of the sort of supernatural and stick with the creepy. Because you don't book yourself into holes then. And I feel that's what they do when they're going to supernatural.
Yeah. And I mean, Undertaker creepy supernatural style gimmick didn't work with the title. Bray Wyatt didn't work with the title. It's not the motivation for the characters, so it doesn't make any sense.
That's right. Their character should be about impacting people, not necessarily going for gold.
Yeah.
Okay, how about Uncle Howdy brainwashed Alexa Bliss and a few of the divas to mess up the women's division more? That's not bad.
I don't think you should be affecting the women's division because I think they're on a hot streak, and you think you should be trying to mess it up.
But that's what he was doing anyway, and then that was just dropped as well. I suppose with Alexa Bliss getting pregnant as well, that obviously.
Yeah.
Bray should be a manager or just a cult leader, not a wrestler.
I think that could be a very cool idea because I would quite like to see Paul Heyman against Bray Wyatt on the mic.
Yes, it's not a bad idea and then you get Bray to wrestle even less. So when he does wrestle, you just have him.
It means something.
You have him squash people and use that sort of limited moveset that I'm not having a go at Bray here. I don't think it's Bray's talent that gives him a limited moveset. WWE decide what moves you're allowed to do and aren't do, and that's why I really wanted to see Bray Wyatt in New Japan, because we could see a different side of Bray, the wrestling side of Bray. We just never got it, and but yeah, I you know, give him that one match every year, and have him booked strong, you know, instead of don't do the neck snapping move. God, I hate that move.
Yeah.